literally less than 2 weeks ago, people are still creating vlogs and blogs, trying to figure out if you and Miles are still together.
Yeah.
Karen,
Yeah.
are you and Miles still together?
Hi, I'm Tamara, and this is Tamara Lynette Tells. And today you're going to hear Karen's answer to that question, the question many of us have been asking for well over a year. Be sure to stick around because I'm also going to share updates for Amani and Woody from season 11 and Justin from season 15. So let's hop right into this. Karen and Miles have been very secretive about the status of their marriage, and when asked about it, they have basically said, it's none of your business, which of course makes us want to know even more. So Miles actually spoke on the state of their relationship before this interview with Karen dropped, and I'll show you what he had to say later. But first, I'll share with you Karen's answer to the question posed at the beginning of this video.
Karen, are you and Miles still together?
No.
Oh man, so unfortunately another Married at First Sight couple didn't make it. I was really rooting for them. On the surface, they appeared to be happy after the cameras went away. So this interview, which aired on a YouTube channel called Curate for Women Network, is about an hour and 20 minutes long. The first 40 minutes or so are dedicated to diving into Karen's upbringing. I want to share the pieces of the interview that pertain to their marriage. But quickly, there were a couple of things that she clarified or said I want to just tell you because they were told in fragments. Like, remember on her wedding day before she walked down the aisle when she was freaking out because she found out who she was going to marry and she wasn't attracted to him? Well, what really happened was a producer from the show, for whatever reason, texted Miles's name to Karen's best friend the day before the wedding. Now, Karen couldn't speak on why the producer did this, but it sounds pretty shady. Anyway, that scene we saw with Karen freaking out and saying she had checked his Instagram didn't actually happen the day of the wedding. That was filmed the day before. She said the reason she was so freaked out is because New Orleans is a small town, and while she didn't know Miles personally, she knew who he was and that he was one of the candidates for the show. And she had actually looked at his Instagram months prior because the streets were talking about Miles, and what they were saying wasn't good. So she and her friends were like, you're about to marry that dude that everybody was talking about. Not to mention he was much younger than her, which was another concern. So in that clip where she's freaking out, she mentions that she looked up his Instagram. Well, after learning that she was going to marry him, she checked his Instagram again and was suspicious of him, not only because of what she heard about him, but because his Instagram looked too curated and too perfect. So once again, this is a case of Married at First Sight producers and editors taking liberties with the truth and piecing stories together for drama. Another thing I want to mention is that the interviewer's name is Victoria Wright, and she asked Karen some questions about the experts and the process. Victoria said, I imagine they do mental and psychological evaluations during the interview process. And Karen said, well, they say they do, but many people have managed to get through. Now, that comment struck me because Karen went through this process and clearly didn't feel like she went through a rigorous psychological evaluations like they have been claiming they do each season. Okay, and finally, Karen mentioned that the experts are in different stages of their lives now and are not in touch with the current dating scene. This is a great point. This statement makes me think that either they need younger experts or experts who found their spouse through online dating or have at least experienced online dating. Because if they haven't experienced what dating is like since the invention of the internet and dating apps, then they shouldn't be an expert because the internet and dating apps have completely changed the dating game and the type of experiences people are having now with so many options versus decades ago before online dating was even a thing. Victoria asked some great questions. However, she cut Karen off quite a bit. I found myself yelling at the screen, let her finish. Anyway, Karen never directly said why she and Miles broke up, but the more she spoke, the more things were revealed. Now, take a look at this montage I put together for you.
Y'all haven't even publicly announced that you were not together anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that, by the time this airs, it will be publicly announced, but that's been hard for me for a number of reasons. One, let's be serious. Nobody wants to talk about divorce. Divorce on its own is hard enough by yourself, let alone like you're still processing it, and the world wants you to let you in, or wants you to let them in. And so like that is extremely hard. I'm in a very weird space because it's like, okay, you are recovering from having your heart broken, feeling like you were just abandoned. Like, I don't want to be the person that is just like, you know what, I give up on everything. I'm just gonna disappear and be this hermit crab, even though there are so many days where that's the only thing I wanna do. And people don't think about how hard that part is. You know, when they're giving all these opinions, it's like you don't stop to think that, what if she's not like this at all? And this is how TV painted her. Like, people were like, oh, you know, you didn't even like him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm the one that got my heart broke. But y'all don't stop to think about that and like how hard that is to carry. Like, I'm the one who was committed to this relationship. I'm the one who really wanted marriage. I'm not the one who just woke up one day and changed my mind about wanting a romantic relationship. But still people have this perception and they think they know so much that they don't. People think they're disappointed watching it, like, oh my God, why isn't she giving him blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, how do you think I feel watching it back when I'm like, wait, I didn't say that in response to this, or why didn't y'all show any of the good things I said? Like, of course I look like a bitch if you're only showing these bad things. But you know, Dubai was actually a trip that me and Miles were supposed to host together. But that didn't happen. It's the second trip that he
left you stranded. What was the first trip?
First trip was Dominican Republic.
Okay.
So very similar situation, but ultimately we didn't end up going. This time I learned my lesson from Dominican Republic and how that was handled. So I went on the Dubai trip solo by myself.
Did you ever think at some point that y'all would work it out?
I hoped we would, but again, needing a certain level of effort, needing a certain level of accountability. And I'm gonna be honest, there are still some days where I feel like I'm waiting on that, right? Not in a sense of like, oh, I think like we'll be back together, because I think like it's just been too much, too long now. But
do you feel like gaslit? Is that a word? Is gaslit the word? Or do you feel like he like, you know?
Yes. I honestly feel very bamboozled.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, he looks like I have all of my crap together.
They don't care that I have this crippling anxiety that like popped up during filming in the show, like, because I didn't go on TV and just be like, oh, like I have dealt with depression and anxiety too. People may not like what I say, right, or how I say it. And I'm also taking responsibility, because there are times where I need to say things better. I need to articulate more clearly. But at the end of the day, like, what I say is real. I'm not giving you a show. I'm not acting. I'm not
pretending. This is true to who I am.
Right. I'm not saying, like, I'm not on display like, okay, I'm about to be like Miss Presidential and just give you the things that you want to hear and that sound good, right? Like, no, let's talk.
They should have learned from your daddy when he cut up on this.
I'm like, no, let's talk about the hard stuff. I'm gonna challenge you. You're saying one thing to me, prove it. You like me so much. Why, sir? You don't even know me. You're in love already? How? Because there are things that I would never have done to you that you did to me. So, like, I walked into my marriage sharing those things that I was scared to talk about, and sharing the things that have caused me the most pain. But I do realize that not everyone is there yet.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. It makes me feel bad because it's like, I know that I would have been there. I know that I would have received whatever it was because I genuinely loved you.
Yeah.
But I can't force you to be ready yet. I can't force you to want what you don't genuinely want. Like if you don't genuinely want marriage, if you don't genuinely want a partner, or if you're just not genuinely ready for it, I can't change that.
Yeah.
I can be here, but at some point I have to draw my own lines and boundaries because someone closing up and shutting me out, that's not gonna go well when I'm pouring everything I have into them. Well, I'm not like, oh, I'm about to jump right back into something or anything like that. I'm like, no, like that's part of the reason it's taken me so long to speak on some of these things is because I know myself very well. I know I have to go through my process. I know I have to heal, like to even be open to being open.
Yeah.
Right? I think this season is about me authentically, one, showing up as myself, but then two, like after what I've been through, like some things you go through, you're not the same when you come out on the other side. So it's like, for me, this is also a season of like rediscovering and redefining who Karen is and what she wants to do and like what the next steps are.
Wow, so it appears as though Karen's side of the story is that Miles wasn't ready for marriage and pretty much walked away. Who knows, maybe her initial concerns of him being too young were valid, or maybe he just wasn't ready to be married to her. Now, earlier I mentioned that Miles was the one who initially announced the state of their marriage. Well, I don't believe he meant for his comments to leave the room he was talking in. I don't know, it's kind of weird. What had happened was that Miles shared a clip of himself talking on a men's panel for Shea Moisture at this year's Essence Festival on his Instagram feed. Here's the clip.
People don't really talk to you about like how hard it becomes like when you get your dream, because like there's a lot of different stress that happens and you didn't anticipate a lot of people who you're responsible to. So on the flip side, at the same time, I was dealing with separation in my marriage, and so like both of those things individually are very difficult, but on compounded on against each other is really hard. And I really had to learn a lot about you're gonna make decisions out of love that are really tough, and that can still hurt people.
Okay, so you can imagine that after he shared this clip, folks picked up on the news and it started to spread. So then he took it down, and Shea Moisture removed it from their Instagram feed as well. It's as if he didn't want us to know they were separated. However, if he hadn't reposted it on his Instagram stories, I don't believe the word would have gotten out in this way anyway. In any case, they have finally broken their silence, and unfortunately, hearts were also broken. If you recall, their season went a little longer due to the pandemic, and it seemed to serve them in a positive way. Maybe it just prolonged the inevitable. I was rooting for them though, but I really wish both of them the best, and I hope they eventually find their happy ending. Now, as promised, I also have an update about Justin from season 15 and Woody and Amani from season 11. Let's move on to Justin. Justin was invited on Courtney and Eddie's YouTube channel to announce that he has Klinefelter syndrome. He's currently in a relationship with a woman named Kayla who suspected he had it and asked him to get his testosterone levels checked, which eventually led to his diagnosis. Now, according to Mayo Clinic, Klinefelter syndrome is a genetic condition that results when a boy is born with an extra copy of the X chromosome. Klinefelter syndrome is a genetic condition affecting males, and it often isn't diagnosed until adulthood. So some of the symptoms a man can experience in adulthood can include low sperm count or no sperm. And during this interview, Justin said that he can't have kids, but he is open to adoption. Small testicles and penis, no comment. Low sex drive makes me wonder about him going into this marriage while being celibate for a year or so. Taller than average height, he's 6'8", weak bones, decreased facial and body hair. He doesn't appear to be a hairy guy. Less muscular compared with other men. Enlarged breast tissue. And during this interview, he did say that he had enlarged breast. Increased belly fat. He didn't seem to have this issue. He's pretty slim, but he did mention that he's put on about 20 healthy pounds with the help of Miguel, of all people. Miguel is the only person he keeps in contact with from the show, by the way. So, some of the complaints Alexis had during the season, like Justin's outburst, him not being able to self-regulate his emotions, crying quite a bit, or his struggles to communicate, can be symptomatic of Klinefelter syndrome. Now, clearly, I'm no doctor, so I can't say how much of this was the syndrome versus his genuine personality. But fortunately, now he's under a doctor's care and receiving testosterone shots twice a week. Justin said that his friends and family see the difference in him more than he does, but he's happier and feels healthier than he ever has in quite some time. Hey, I enjoy hearing about people taking the steps to learn how they can be better mentally and physically. So, first of all, kudos to Justin's girlfriend, Kayla, for being a positive light in Justin's life in this way. And cheers to Justin for following through with the various doctor's appointments and testing that it took to finally get to this diagnosis. And finally, Amani and Woody, a couple that is a fan favorite. They have announced that Amani is pregnant with their second child due in November of 2023. Here is how they announced it to their friends and family.
On our first cruise as a family.
Yay, yay. Me and Rain's first cruise.
Yes.
First one as a fan. Let's go.
And we got Rain this big brochure so that we could announce to our family that he's going to be a big brother.
Round 2, let's go!
Yes. Having another baby.
Run it back, baby.
So, November 2023, Rain is going to become a big brother.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what that means, but he will.
Big bro.
What you think about it, boo? I hope that means you're excited.
They are so cute. I can't even stand it. With about 4 months to go before she gives birth, Amani hopped on Instagram Live to share how she's feeling now, how she felt when she learned that she was pregnant. Her feelings may surprise you, and other little nuggets of information. Here are some of the highlights.
This baby is growing, y'all. Really growing. I'm officially 20 weeks, so we're halfway there. Oh wait, today's Monday, so I'm 21 weeks today. And I'm not one of those girls that are like, oh my gosh, I love being pregnant. It's the best thing on earth. I'm not that girl at all. I don't enjoy pregnancy. I hope it's a girl too. We're gonna do another surprise. I know everybody's like, what are you having? Are you having a boy? Are you having a girl? And we're gonna do a surprise again. We didn't know the gender with Rain, but if I don't get a girl, it's totally fine. I won't be trying again. So, not that I tried with this baby either. We kind of just, made another love baby. We were not trying to conceive with Rain or this new baby. So, things happen. When I found out I was pregnant, it was honestly like a big struggle. Like, I was not excited at all. I had just kind of felt like I had just gotten back to myself and feeling like I had a good groove. I knew what I was doing with Rain. He was in a good space. Me and Woody were in a good space. And I just felt like finding out I was pregnant kind of just like threw a whole wrench in my plans. You know how you have plans for your life? Like, yeah, we're just gonna coast in this life for a few years, and then we can introduce the idea of getting pregnant again, right? That's how I had that in my mind. And I had to kind of shift my mind into acceptance because I was really against it. I just felt like it was not a good time. Like, I wanted to have my body back, and I was still breastfeeding Rain. So I just kind of felt like going from being pregnant to breastfeeding to then being pregnant again, it doesn't leave any room for myself to like connect back with Amani, just the person, not Amani the mom, Amani the food source, Amani the vessel for creating human life. It was just like, okay, we're back in this again. Like there was no break. Like I literally had to write down the pros and the cons of being pregnant again. And some of those cons was looking real like outweighing the pros in those moments. I was just like, this is not a great idea. You know, why would God do this to me? That's kind of how I felt. And I'm just being honest. Like, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but you know, you should be excited about a new life, being able to create life and being able to do this with a husband and a supporting family. And I get all of that, but there can be, two things can be true at the same time. Yes, I'm blessed to be able to create life, but also I can also not be excited that I have to do this again. So that's kind of how this journey started. I wasn't, team, yes, 202, let's do this, yes. Woody was, I'm sure y'all can tell he has always been super excited to create life with me. And when I told him, I really appreciated that he left space for me to feel how I felt. Like he wasn't just like, oh girl, it's gonna be great, whatever, you got this. He allowed me to not be okay with it for a little while. Before he shared that he was super excited, he allowed me to kind of be like, yeah, I'm not with this. And I'm trying to get on board, but like I wasn't there. So I was really grateful for him to, give me that space, because it was a little rough. It was rough for you, girl. But yes, we're gonna have another home birth also. So that should be great. I'm excited to be in our home. So we were in a rented home for Rain's birth. So we'll do the new baby in our home, which is exciting, right? I am a stay-at-home mom and a full-time content creator. So I make money from creating content on social media, and I get to stay at home and play with Rain all day.
I believe that some of the reasons people tend to gravitate towards Amani is because of her sense of calmness, honesty, and vulnerability. I'm sure she probably helped validate other women who felt the same way she did when she said that she wasn't excited about being pregnant at first. It's always nice to know that you're not alone when it comes to feeling differently than what society expects you to. I just love how she shares so openly. Since that video, Amani recently weaned their son Rain off breastfeeding at 13 months old, and she's working through the emotions of missing the type of connection she had with him while she was breastfeeding. Amani and Woody are a real Married at First Sight success story, and I think a lot of us are still holding on to this show, hoping to witness another couple in the making like them. But unfortunately, all we've seen lately is a bunch of tomfoolery. In any case, I'm enjoying this little break from the Married at First Sight season. I hope you are too. I will continue to pop in with some videos though. Y'all are not going to get rid of me that easy. But this is all I have for now. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video.